Who will end racism? Both Democrats as well as Republicans use racism as a tool to win the election. Both of them claim that they are not racist. Trump says that he has given more jobs to the blacks, but Democrats have different statistics and different argument. So what's the answer for this apparently very difficult question? Who will end racism? Blacks working together, or whites gathering together and then trying to find a solution, or God? Now we know that blacks cannot by themselves do it, and the whites can do it as well, but God can do it. But the problem is, who is God? Is he alive? And how is he going to come down into the earth plane and make it happen? God is going to do that. How? He is not going to descend into this earth plane, because every religion says that their God or Savior is going to come down and then make the earth plane into heaven. And for most people it is not acceptable, because it has not happened so far, and it is very likely that he is going to come. Then how is this going to be done? It can be done by answering some questions. Look at the problem in a very, very authentic way when you are by yourself. Go and shut yourself from the world, from opinions, views, and stay by yourself and ask the question, are you a racist? The answer immediately will come from the mind. No, I am not a racist. I am more tolerant or loving. No, that's not the answer that I am asking. Deep down, subconsciously, unconsciously, do you feel some kind of negative attitude towards color? Answer this question. Would you want to hang out with a colored person? Or you deep down feel some kind of reaction, which is not a positive one? And if we say yes, then you have to at that point make a decision. Then how can we solve the question? the of racism. There is another approach to it, which will be understood by most people as an option. But again, you have to look deep into it. And that is, it's only blacks who are underprivileged, who are the minority, themselves can find a solution. The whites are not going to give the solution. Now, how can the blacks themselves can find a solution? I want to kind of align with the answer that the blacks, along with God, alone can find a solution. And I'm going to give a different definition and understanding of God. The blacks are the affected party. But they should also remember that not all blacks are unsuccessful or unintelligent or rejected. In fact, there are extremely successful blacks, talented, like Michael Jackson, Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Martin Luther, not Martin Luther, the king who fought for the rights of the civil rights movement and equality for the blacks. So what is needed is a change of consciousness within the blacks. They have to identify themselves with God. Which is the truth. Everybody is God. And if they can develop self-esteem equivalent to God, the problem is solved. Because the answer to this question is who you are is what you think you are. Individually. It is not a collective phenomenon, that although collectively you can teach a group of people that you are God, but then everybody should individually, without doubt, feel that he is God. And how can he think that way? There are a number of techniques to raise self-esteem, to bring the God within themselves. Who is God? Who is God is not the mind. It is the Brahman, the soul. The soul of everybody is the same. the color doesn't really matter. But intelligence does. But then you have the intelligence. You may not have the intelligence gained through some training of some skills of some sort. I'm not talking about that intelligence. The intelligence that you acquire from schools and colleges and academic degrees do not matter as much as natural intelligence. Natural intelligence is something that Einstein had. And many college dropouts like Bill Gates and Zuckerberg, they hire a lot of PhDs, but then what made them exemplary is the natural intelligence and incredible self-esteem. So God is natural intelligence. God is self-esteem. And it won't take a long time to develop this natural intelligence. The natural intelligence can be developed through some very simple practices of stopping the mind. Now, as I keep quiet now, I can pull myself from my mind to my soul. Then momentarily, a fraction of a second, you will feel that identity with God. You can go and look at the mirror and look at your eyes without blinking. You will know that you are God. The mind has to become completely quiet. And this is not only a technique to be practiced by the blacks, also for the whites or any colored people. Once you know and experience that you are God, then you will also treat others as God, because you are not going to be carried away by the color. You are not going to be carried away by the accent they have. You are not going to be carried away by the bank balance they have. You are not going to be carried away by their physical beauty or accomplishments. But you are carried away by the God in the other. Then you are changing your identity. Then you have solved the problem. The government should spend money on programs like this, where people will develop the highest self-esteem by identifying the God within. When you see and experience the God within, then everybody will change. Any amount of external attempts, political methodologies won't work. It hasn't worked. It's not working now. There is no reason to believe that it will work in the future. The only thing that will work is the truth. The truth is first to understand deep down there is discrimination. Even before the mind sets in, there is this discrimination. And this discrimination is due to ignorance. That leads to differentiation. The only answer then is to develop incredible self-esteem that will annihilate your identity. As black, brown, green, or red. There is only one identity, that you are God, you are love, you are infinite. But do you think that any politician would accept it? No. That is idealistic approach. But as long as politicians are not willing to look into this, there is no solution for racism. The only answer is the individual person, himself or herself, asserting his or her own identity as God. And those groups join together and create a new society. And that society will not have racism. Go and stare at your own image reflected on the mirror. Particularly look at your eyes. You are God, beyond the mind, beyond all sense distractions. You look at my eyes, I look at your eyes. God bless.